folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. I have quite a bit to cover today on one particular subject, and it's something that we've kind of toyed with in the last few weeks on this channel, of saying that this could be in the making. It could be in for another round of the and the this and the this and all the stuff that goes with it. As I've reported, and you've probably heard in other places also, that there's been a big uptick in talking about it going into the winter months of, the long COVID and all this other stuff. Well, in recent news, they've kind of coined a new phrase because, we can't have just a regular pandemic anymore. I mean, after what we've gone through for the last 3 years, it has to be something bigger, scarier, more terrifying, so that you can give away more of your rights. That's right. Now we're calling it the Triple-demic. A triple-demic is expected this winter. Excuse me. Sorry about the voice thing. This winter. And for those of you that are wondering what that is, it's pretty simple. It's the combination of flu, COVID, and RSV. When you combine the three, not necessarily saying that you get all three at once, but when you combine the amount of people that are getting each one of those together, we're talking lots and lots of illnesses, and the belief is that it's going to overwhelm the system, and according to news reports, it already is in certain areas. This could be the next big thing. I mean, there's already reports from California that have said that they will re-implement their face diaper mandate. Health and Human Services has authorized a report sent to the White House recommending that the face diapers be put into play once again. So this isn't something that's just, people are getting sick. This is something that they're trying to make it into a big fear tactic, I believe. Now, first of all, I'm not doubting that there are people getting sick. I know that there are, because there have been a lot of people in my own circle that have gotten sick in the last few weeks. My two granddaughters were almost hospitalized because of RSV. Another person in our group, their son was hospitalized. I can't even begin to count the amount of people that I know personally that have said that they've gotten sick with a cold or a flu or something in just the last few weeks. It's been quite a bit. And I know that a lot of you are going to say, yeah, but it's that time of the year, so it just happens. You could very well be correct. According to the reports, though, the numbers are substantially higher than on an average year. Now, are they including the last 2 years that there was no flu cases? Maybe so, to do a comparison, because if you compare flu cases this year to, 2020, it's going to look like a really bad year this year. I don't know for certain. All I'm telling you is that there seems to be a lot of hype about this, a lot of talk about, RSV hospitalizations have gone up 31% in 1 week. In 1 week, shows this report. Here's another one. Face masks may have to return to amid holidays because of the triple-demic. It talks about how when all these cases collide, this is Yale Medicine, that, when you collide with RSV, COVID, and flu, it seems to be creating a lot of problems. And not only is it creating problems for people being ill, but it's also, according to the news, creating problems with the supply chain. There is a big shortage right now of medicines that are used to treat these illnesses. And some of it is because of the demand, we're told, and other is because of just the supply chain. I want to show you this video clip here. I spliced this up myself, and this is of 3 of the major news networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC. It's interesting that all 3 of the reports that I watched were almost identical. They were almost verbatim. I mean, it was kind of eerily strange, but we'll just push that aside for a moment. I want you to listen to the things that they're saying here in this news clip.
Flu, RSV, and COVID are on the rise nationwide, creating a threat some are calling a triple-demic.
With the triple-demic, so that's cases of flu, RSV, and COVID driving high demand for medication.
Today, our pediatrician told me in her 30-year career, this is the worst sick season she has ever seen in East Texas.
20 years that I've been practicing, I've never seen seen drug shortages quite like this.
Body supply depending on the region and issues with other medications. Some antibiotics like amoxicillin are a result of supply chain issues, a holdover from the pandemic.
The prescription medicines are a little bit trickier because it may take quite some time for those medicines, for the supply to kind of increase for those medications.
The big problem is that there's just not enough medicine to go around. And this is something that I've been warning you about for a very long time, folks. Even before the whole health crisis thing started. Having a stockpile of medications is just almost a must. And then you also need to know some natural things, because you can't stockpile everything forever. It would be very good for you to learn of the natural herbal type remedies that are available for a lot of these illnesses. Most of these illnesses are typically mild and discomforting in people, and just some natural remedies usually are a pretty good option. In fact, I've even seen reports of doctors recommending patients use some natural remedies because there just aren't other things available. And there's just not a lot available. Shortages of antivirals, antibiotics, compound stress of a rough season for viral illness for kids. Here's another one. New concerns about drug shortages at hospitals fill amid a triple-demic. I spoke to someone just recently that was in the hospital for an illness, and he was saying that the hospital, and this is one of the largest hospitals in probably the Midwest, definitely in the state of Missouri, and he said that the hospital was out of the medication that he needed, that they could not find it. They searched all the pharmacies, and they couldn't find it, that they were out of. And the nurses were telling him that they were out of other things that were, it was pretty bad. And I've talked about this before also, just medical supplies in general seem to be in short supply. I've heard it from a lot of different sources that medical supplies in general are in a short supply. So certainly be stocking up on those. Pharmacist issues urgent warning to parents amid Strep A drug shortage. Local pharmacies see uptick in drug substitutions due to children's medication shortage. And this is the thing, they're substituting. I even saw in one report that the pharmacist was trying to tell the parents how to take an adult medication and splice it down or to dilute it down for the children because there were no children medications available. And here's another one. Drug shortages aren't going away anytime too soon. Supply chain expert warns. Just to give you a taste of what we're talking about, I printed them off here, so give me just a second. This here is a current list of the current FDA list of drug shortages. This list is 11 pages long, okay? 11 pages long. Man, it's getting breezy out here, of drug shortages currently, right now, here in the United States. Okay, so it's a pretty lengthy list. 11 pages long I printed out. I'm not even going to begin to go through all of them. Half of these words I couldn't pronounce if I wanted to. But the point is that this drug shortage problem is becoming very critical. And I have a feeling that they're going to use the fact that there's an uptick in these illnesses and a drug shortage to implement some kind of new Scaredemic, okay? And so you need to be aware of that. Back to the news again, there's still more articles to cover on this. There was just so many. New concerns about drug shortages as hospitals fill up. There's all kinds of reports that hospitals are starting to get to maximum capacity again. I don't know that that's true. We know that over the last couple of years there was a lot of falsification of numbers and stuff, and are they still doing that now? I don't know, but it does appear that things are starting to get pretty critical. Another one. Why does the U.S. keep having a problem running out of medication? Well, it's because we depend on foreign nations that aren't necessarily friendly to us to make our medications. It's something like 85% or more of all of our medications come from China or maybe India, but most of it's China. And it's not just cold and flu season type medications. Adderall, talked about that before. It's causing chaos because they can't find anything to substitute for it. I was reading of several other types of medications, important medications for people that's had surgeries recently, things like that they just don't have the medications for. This is something that we need to kind of wake up to. I know none of you want to go through another scary health crisis thing. And I'm not saying that that's exactly how they're going to spin this, but I will say that it does appear that they're kind of building the hype and suspension towards that. So it's very possible that we could see another big, scary health crisis upon us. You need to be ready for this, folks. This would be very detrimental to our economy if they started implementing, enforcing some of these mandates that they did the last time. For those of you that have children and that have dealt with the illness, again, you need to look at some natural things I would recommend, because a lot of these over-the-counter stuff that's either not available or not very effective. So look into other things. But above all, folks, we need to be aware of this, because it looks like they're really trying to push the envelope. And if you're out there prepping and stocking up, and you go to a store and you find the stuff that you need, or you find enough that you can put away a few bottles of something, I would highly recommend that. It just like in the report that I was watching, or several of them, they said right now it's spotty across the country. There are some areas that seem to be doing okay with supplies, others they're doing really bad. So if you come across and you don't know if your area is doing really good right now, you have no way of knowing that next week they may run out and not get any shipments for weeks to come. So if you find the stuff and you're able to stock it away, I would certainly do that. You know, most medications, even over the counter, have a fairly decent shelf life. If you look at them, especially if they're stored in a cool environment where they're not getting a lot of sunlight rays on them, they'll last for a decent amount of time, and usually they don't go bad. They just start to degrade their potency over time. And you can find information about that online if you do some searching around. But the main thing is that you need to be stocking up for this. You need to be preparing, and also preparing for the possible implementations of new mandates due to all of this scare tactics that's being used. Doesn't mean that people aren't getting sick. It doesn't even mean that people aren't dying, because it's most likely that there are some. Because for certain people with weakened immune systems, things like RSV and flu and strep and other things can be very serious for them. We know that from the past. But don't put it past them using this as another tool in their tool bag to implement more of their globalist New World Order, Great Reset policies. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order, to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.